Dungeon Doom Hands, Let's Talk Lore.
The power
a
of
podcast.
timelines. Now we did one recently on timelines, like making our own timelines.
Right.
Now I'm going to do my best to incorporate that, just in like group chat or whatever. But timelines, the importance of, Chris, what do you think?
Well, it's the history. It's the history of the land, the history of the people. And it tells the story of your world. So
Yes.
if you think of like the timeline of human history that we have today, there's the rise and fall of civilizations, powerful organizations, peoples, wars. It's the history of your world.
Yeah,
And that history shapes the land that's out in front of you.
so timelines, yes. So timelines are the history of your world. And also a cool thing about timelines, and the power of timelines, is that if you do go back in time, like we did in the first Triad, where you did the time heist, first off, they can recreate your world. Because if you go back in time, depending on how you use your time, is it the Marvel multiverse where like you do something and like all of a sudden it splinters and or does it change? Is it Back to the Future?
Or does everyone now believe that the world is flat?
Yeah. The guys went back in time and convinced the entire posse of mind flayers in the Underdark that the world was flat, and then they ran through a portal. So now I got to deal with that, which is great.
Which I will have to say, Random Tangent, one of my favorite sessions of, okay, now we're going to break and we're going to split into two groups, and everyone has to debate flat or round Earth.
It was great. I'm still dropping those. And
that was
clips.
That was a perfect example of when to tell your players and give them warning. You told us about that ahead of time, so all of us were doing research on flat world and flat Earth theory and stuff, and had lists and documents and all of our notes to tap onto.
Yeah,
great.
Booterbot was like, I did so much research on like what the world would be if it was flat. So funny. And I was like, and so did I. And I actually got smarter because of it. I feel like the information that I had before and after, it said something about like if the world was actually flat and it was orbiting the sun, there wouldn't be a night or something like that. Unless it would just get sort of dimmer.
Unless it was going end over end.
Yeah. But then it would be like super cold at like, I think. Or maybe not. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If it was,
if it was like a CD and it was turning.
It was like this.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. And then, like, timeline, you get into the science of it for timelines. It's like, all right, so what's a year? Doesn't have to be 365 days.
Right.
And then you get into, like, hours. Like, the hour, are there...
How long is a day?
I think that, like, you get too into it. I think it's, like, when I was talking about it, and I was like, well, the Earth is round, and Booterbot was like, why do you call it Earth?
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, damn it, it's Undervan. It's Undervan. But yeah, timelines are a great way to, like, it's like a broad, massive world-building exercise, essentially.
And it's a blank line until you throw piece of information in there.
Right.
Like if you're traveling through the woods and you find some ancient ruins, there's a new little blip on the timeline.
Yes.
You've discovered a new creation.
Yeah. And then if you're like us and we've played we're almost actually at 100 episodes, by the way.
Wow. That's
going to be sick.
Wow.
Got to do something special with that. but your story now starts to have its own timeline, and you can also
we become a point on the history.
And I was thinking about, and again in the reality and Blue Skull one where we were introducing the time, like, what if you went back in time on your own adventure timeline and ran into yourselves doing something, and then like the result was something good, like you guys found the skull, or you saved this person, or maybe you didn't save this person that you liked, and then you had to watch it all over again, and like,
or we go back to some time that we remember when we messed up, and sit in the shadows and wait till we leave and forget the thing that we've been missing for 10 months, and then go back and get it.
Yes, timelines.
Timelines.
Yeah,
Timelines
like insane.
make time travel make sense.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And like, yeah, world building too. It's like we are going to go back in time, and we're also going to go in the future, which is hilarious too. It's like,
I'm excited to see that.
They know of you. Maybe you've already done things and lost.
Ooh.
And you guys are like celebrated, and like there are statues of you, but like you've lost. How do you? What do you do? Like, do you learn how you lost, and then use that information? Like you get trapped in a room, and the room has a button on it, and you do it wrong, and the whole place explodes. But then, like right at the last minute, you go to the future somehow.
Or you, instead of you blow up, is whatever you're trying to save is destroyed.
Yes. Like
and you go to the future, and you figure out the way that it should have been able to work, and then you go back.
And maybe like the worst thing that you guys did was convince the Mind Flayers that the Earth was flat, and that's the reason why all these people died and all this stuff. And you go back and you actually help the Time Dragon kill you, so that Naglin doesn't open up the portal, and then you escape. Interesting.
Or we steal the coin from Ignis. That's what decided. Or we manipulate that coin to say round.
That's hilarious.
Come up round.
Yes.
That's what you do. Alright.
That's so funny. The coin, I forgot where I got that. I looked up a random thing online. Oh, funny items. It was actually on D&D Beyond, I think. You can look up like homebrew items, and the item was like a coin that tells that the truth 50% of the time, and the other 50% it lies. And you don't know as to whether or not it's telling the truth. And every time it flips, it.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a coin, but
it's just a coin.
Yeah, it's Two-Face. Make my own luck.
Dungeon Doom Hands. Let's talk lore. A podcast.